Let's start with something few doctors will tell you. There's a small, almost secret group of seniors, about 3%, who don't just survive after 80, they thrive. They walk steadily, think clearly, laugh often, and wake up each morning with energy and intent. These individuals live on their own terms, strong, sharp, and deeply alive. What makes them different? It's not random, it's not luck, and it's not just about good genes. It's about 5 very specific things they do that signal true biological resilience. These 5 capabilities, if you can still do them after 80, aren't just signs of good health. They are predictors of independence, protection against decline, and even indicators of how many years you likely have ahead. And the truth? Most people lose one or more of these abilities by their late 70s. Not because they have to, but because no one told them how to protect them. But once you understand what these 5 signs are and how to nurture them daily, you gain a real edge. So in the 6-part series, I'm going to walk you through each of these 5 things. I'll explain why it matters, what it means when it disappears, and most importantly, how to get it back or keep it as long as possible. But first, let's understand what's really going on after age 80. The world assumes that old age means deterioration. Doctors start focusing more on comfort than strength. Families expect you to slow down. Friends quietly withdraw. Your world can begin to shrink, both physically and emotionally. And the moment you believe it, you start handing over your vitality. But that 3%, the ones who seem to defy time, they believe something different. They still challenge themselves. They stay interested in life. They monitor their bodies like a pilot checks a cockpit. And they build micro-habits that preserve the functions most others take for granted. So what are these 5 powerful signs that reveal real longevity? I'll give you the overview now, and we'll explore each one in depth in the coming parts. Standing from a chair without using hands. It reveals full body coordination, quad strength, and balance. Most seniors lose this ability first. Walking 10 minutes without exhaustion or pain. A marker of heart health, lung capacity, joint integrity, and muscular endurance. Holding a 30-second balanced stand, 1 foot. This single test can predict fall risk and cognitive sharpness. Climbing a flight of stairs without stopping. This is about stamina, circulation, and metabolic flexibility. Having a sharp, focused conversation without mental fog. The brain's ability to stay quick, attentive, and socially aware is a rare superpower at this age. Now, you don't have to be perfect in all 5, but if you're over 80 and can still do most of these consistently, you are in rare company. And if you've lost one or more, don't worry, we'll work on rebuilding them. That's what this series is for. Let me introduce you to someone who embodies this. Her name is Rita. She's 84, lives alone, prepares her own meals, tends her garden, walks to the local community center 3 times a week to lead a poetry class. The other seniors there think she's gifted with good genes. But Rita once had arthritis in both knees, suffered from mild memory lapses, and lost her husband to heart disease. So what did she do? She studied her body like a student. She built habits like religion. She does 10 squats every morning, eats turmeric and leafy greens daily, plays memory games on her phone, and meditates for 7 minutes every night. She's not superhuman. She's simply consistent. And that consistency protects her from decline. That's what I want for you. So what did she do? She studied her body like a student. She built habits like religion. She does 10 squats every morning, eats turmeric and leafy greens daily, plays memory games on her phone, and meditates for 7 minutes every night. She's not superhuman. She's simply consistent. And that consistency protects her from decline. That's what I want for you. The chair test. Why standing without hands is the first true marker of aging. Let's begin with the very first sign of real longevity. Standing from a chair without using your hands. At first glance, it seems simple, something you've done a million times. But if you're over 80 and can still do this with ease, you are performing a rare and critical act of muscular integration. Standing up from a seated position without pushing off with your hands requires coordination from your legs, hips, core, spine, and even your brain. It may look like a basic motion, but physiologically, it's a symphony. And when one part of the system weakens, muscles, joints, nerves, this ability begins to vanish. Why is this so important? Because it's often the first ability seniors lose without noticing. One day, you find yourself needing a little push from your hand. Then, both hands. Then suddenly, you're pulling yourself up with effort, or needing a walker, or staying seated longer to avoid standing. This slow slide leads directly to the frailty spiral. And here's what most people don't realize. Losing the ability to stand without using hands increases your risk of falling by more than 50%. That fall risk is what drives so many hospitalizations and long-term care admissions. Let me share a quick story. Howard was 82 when he came into my clinic. Healthy heart, clear mind. But his daughter noticed he had started rocking to stand. He didn't think it was a big deal, but when we tested him, he couldn't rise from a chair without bracing both arms. His leg strength was fading fast, and he hadn't noticed. We gave him a 6-week chair rise program, bodyweight squats, seated leg lifts, heel raises, and resistance band exercises. He did them every morning for 15 minutes. At his follow-up, he stood up with no hands, smiling. "Didn't realize how much I'd lost," he said. "Now I feel 10 years younger." So how do you test this yourself? The simple chair test. Sit in a firm, upright chair without wheels. Cross your arms over your chest. Stand up fully without using your hands. Then sit back down, still without using your hands. If you can do this 5 times in a row with steady control, you're doing well. If you need your hands, wobble, or strain, you're not alone. But it's time to rebuild. Here's how. Daily chair rise routine, beginner level. Sit and stand from a firm chair using your hands if needed, 10 reps. Heel lifts while holding the back of the chair, 10 reps. Seated leg extensions. Lift one leg straight out and hold. 10 reps per leg. Repeat this circuit 2 times daily. Intermediate progression. Sit to stand with arms crossed. Try 5 reps. Add ankle weights or resistance bands. Practice 3 sets of 5 every other day. Other strengthening tips. Wall sits. Hold for 10 to 30 seconds. Step-ups on a safe stair. Toe and heel walks across the room. Also, don't forget nutrition's role in muscle maintenance. Without enough protein, magnesium, and vitamin D, you can't rebuild leg strength no matter how much you train. Now, you might say, well, I can't stand without my hands, but I'm doing okay. And to that I say, you're surviving, but you could be thriving. This one ability, rising unaided, protects your independence, your bathroom safety, your balance, your walking power, even your longevity. In fact, studies show that seniors who can do 5 unaided chair stands live significantly longer and are far less likely to end up in assisted care. So whether you're in the 3% or trying to get there, don't ignore this test. The Lifespan Stride Test, walking 10 minutes without exhaustion or pain. If the ability to stand without hands is a signal of muscular control, then the ability to walk for 10 minutes without exhaustion or pain is a direct window into your heart, lungs, circulation, nervous system, and endurance. It is quite literally the walk of life. Walking is often taken for granted until it's gone. But as we age past 80, walking becomes more than a mode of transportation. It becomes a reflection of our inner physiology. When a person can walk for a full 10 minutes without stopping, without holding their lower back, gasping for air, or dragging one leg, it shows a rare integration of cardiopulmonary strength, muscular endurance, and joint integrity. Research shows that walking speed and stamina in elderly populations are closely tied to survival outcomes. One famous study even showed that a senior's average walking speed can predict 5-year mortality more accurately than some lab tests. Why? Because it takes a healthy cascade of biological events just to walk well. Oxygen uptake, blood pressure regulation, muscle fiber activation, and neurological coordination. So what happens when walking becomes painful or exhausting after just a few minutes? It usually means one or more systems are struggling. Common culprits include cardiac insufficiency. The heart can't pump enough oxygen-rich blood. Lung restriction. COPD, asthma, or shallow breathing limits endurance. Poor circulation. Clogged arteries or neuropathy affect the legs. Joint degeneration. Arthritis in the knees, hips, or spine. Muscle loss, especially in the glutes, hamstrings, and calves. But here's the encouraging news. Even if walking has become difficult, it can be retrained. I once worked with a patient named Ron, 85 years old, who had to stop every 2 minutes during walks due to back tightness and fatigue. We started a slow walking rehab program, 2 minutes on, 1 minute rest, gradually increasing his time each week. After 6 weeks, he could walk for 12 uninterrupted minutes. He said, "I feel like I've got my legs and my life back." So here's how you can test your lifespan stride at home. The 10-minute walking test. Choose a safe, flat surface, indoors or outdoors. Wear comfortable shoes. Start walking at a steady, natural pace. Time yourself. Can you walk 10 full minutes without stopping, leaning, or gasping? If yes, you're doing wonderfully. If no, don't panic. You now have a benchmark to train toward. Walking rehab plan, beginner level. Walk for 2 minutes, rest for 1. Repeat for a total of 10 minutes. Do this daily, increasing the walking time each week. Add variety for joint health. Walk sideways along a hallway. Walk backward with support. Try walking on grass or gravel for balance. Supportive strength exercises, glute bridges on a bed or mat. Step-ups using a single stair. Seated marches, lift knees high while seated. And don't forget posture. Poor alignment drains energy. Stand tall, lead with your chest, swing your arms. Your body will use oxygen more efficiently, and you'll notice less fatigue. Some seniors avoid walking due to fear of falling. If that's you, start by walking inside your home, along walls or hallways, or with a rolling walker. And always tell your doctor if walking suddenly becomes harder. This could indicate a treatable underlying issue. Now, let's be real. Not every senior will become a power walker. That's okay. But if you want to live independently, reduce your risk of dementia, and extend your years, you must be able to move without extreme effort. Because when walking becomes optional, decline becomes inevitable. The balance test, standing on one leg for 30 seconds without falling. Let's talk about a test so simple, you could do it in your kitchen right now, but so powerful, it could predict your risk of falling, brain decline, or even premature death. It's called the 30-second balance test. And if you're over 80 and can still do this one thing, you're in elite company. Here's how it works. Stand near a sturdy chair or wall. Lift 1 foot off the ground. Time yourself. Can you balance for 30 seconds without wobbling, grabbing something, or putting your foot back down? If you can, congratulations. You are demonstrating not just leg strength, but also neurological health, proprioception, your brain's awareness of your body's position, and inner ear function. If you can't, not to worry. We'll talk about how to improve it, even if you're starting from zero. But first, here's why this matters so much. Falls are the #1 cause of injury and hospitalization in people over 80. More than heart attacks, more than strokes, more than cancer. And the most common reason for a fall? Poor balance. Balance is your body's silent stabilizer. It allows you to stand up from a toilet safely. It lets you reach for something off a shelf without tumbling. It helps you walk confidently in a crowd or across uneven ground. It's not something you think about until it's gone. But here's what most seniors don't realize. Balance is trainable, and every day you avoid training it, your brain slowly deprioritizes it. Let me introduce you to Mary, age 87. She came in after 2 falls at home, one while reaching for a pot, the other while stepping off a curb. She said, "I don't know what's wrong. I feel fine otherwise." When we did the balance test, she could only hold for 4 seconds. Her muscles were strong, her heart was steady, but her coordination and proprioception had eroded silently. So we began daily balance therapy, simple drills, 10 minutes a day. Within 3 weeks, she was up to 19 seconds. After 6 weeks, 32 seconds. No falls since. Here's the point. It's not about perfection. It's about progression. Let's go over the test and training. The 30-second balance test. Stand barefoot on a flat surface. Hold on to the back of a chair lightly, then let go. Lift 1 foot 3 to 6 inches off the ground. Keep your arms at your sides. Time yourself. How long can you hold before you wobble, touch the wall, or drop your foot? Excellent. 30+ seconds. Good. 15 to 30 seconds. Caution zone. Under 10 seconds. Beginner balance routine. Stand near a counter and lift 1 foot for 5 seconds at a time. Switch sides. Do this 5 times per leg. Repeat twice daily. Practice heel-to-toe walking along a hallway. Try airplane arms. Stand with feet together, arms out, and sway gently side to side. Advanced tips. Close your eyes while balancing. With supervision, stand on a pillow for extra challenge. Balance while turning your head side to side. Balance also reflects brain health. Seniors with poor balance often show signs of reduced cognitive speed and coordination. In fact, balance training is now being used to improve memory, attention span, and mental clarity. And here's a fascinating insight. Many of the longest-lived people in blue zones practice balance unconsciously, gardening on uneven terrain, squatting, reaching overhead, walking hills, or dancing. If you want to live past 90 or 100, balance is not optional. It's fundamental. The stairway challenge. Climbing 1 flight without stopping or pain. This one might sound intimidating at first, but it is perhaps the purest test of your body's inner vitality after 80. The ability to climb a single flight of stairs, around 12 to 15 steps, without stopping, grabbing rails for dear life, or gasping for air, reveals more about your true biological age than your birth certificate ever could. Stair climbing engages your entire body: quads, glutes, calves, core, lungs, and heart. It demands coordination, leg power, balance, and endurance in one continuous vertical challenge. For a younger adult, it's just routine. But for those over 80, it's often the first daily obstacle that signals the body's slowing down. Here's what's at stake. If you can climb a full flight with confidence and control, studies show you are up to 70% less likely to suffer cardiovascular events, more likely to retain full mobility into your 90s, stronger in lower body bone density. But if you find yourself avoiding stairs or needing multiple breaks halfway, it may indicate one or more of the following: reduced leg strength, especially in the thighs and glutes, compromised lung capacity or low oxygenation, deconditioned heart function, early arthritis or joint degeneration, fear of falling, which often worsens balance reflexes. Let me introduce you to Tony, 86. When we met, he proudly said, "I still drive, cook, and do my yard work." But when I asked if he used the upstairs bedroom, he said, "No, stairs take too much out of me." What he didn't realize was that his avoidance of stairs was slowly accelerating his decline. That upstairs bedroom wasn't just space. It represented capability, confidence, and endurance. So we set a goal. By 12 weeks, Tony would be able to climb to that room again without stopping. We began with strength training, sit-to-stands, leg presses, stair step-ups with support, and walking inclines. We added breath work to improve oxygen efficiency. We worked on posture and pacing. Week by week, he progressed. By the 3rd month, Tony climbed the stairs without a pause and said, "I feel like I got my house and my legs back." So how do you assess and train this? The stair climb test. Choose a standard staircase with a railing, preferably 12 to 15 steps. Start at a calm pace. Climb continuously. No sitting, no long pauses. Time yourself and note if you needed the railing or lost breath control. Goal: complete the flight in under 30 seconds with steady breath and posture. Can't do it yet? No problem. Here's how to build up. Beginner stair training. Start with step-ups on a single bottom stair, 10 each leg. Hold on to a railing and practice half flights with rest breaks. Do wall sits for 10 to 30 seconds to build thigh strength. Supportive exercises: glute bridges, standing calf raises, seated leg extensions with ankle weights. Breathing drills: inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 6. Train oxygen control. Also, be mindful of fear. If stairs frighten you due to a past fall, it's natural. But fear causes tension, which worsens imbalance. That's why it's essential to rebuild slowly with a spotter or railing and celebrate every step. Remember, climbing stairs isn't just about muscles. It's a symbol of whether your body still feels strong enough to face vertical resistance. And in aging, vertical strength, upward motion, often disappears first. Now a word for caregivers. If your loved one no longer uses stairs, help them reintroduce at least low-level stair motion once or twice a week. Even a few step-ups builds confidence and reverses deconditioning. The final superpower: holding sharp conversations without mental fog. If physical strength is the armor of longevity, then mental clarity is its sword. The final and perhaps most surprising sign that a senior is aging in reverse is this: the ability to hold sharp, focused, engaging conversations without mental fog. It's easy to measure muscles and stair speed, but conversational sharpness? That's the window into the real-time functioning of your brain, your memory, your mood, your processing speed, and even your sense of identity. If you're over 80 and can follow a multi-step story, respond with insight, recall details, ask thoughtful questions, and express emotion without confusion, you are not just doing well. You are mentally thriving in a way that's rarer than most people realize. Sadly, for many, this cognitive sharpness fades quietly. You forget names more often, lose your train of thought, find it harder to keep up with group conversations. You may even speak less, Not because you have less to say, but because it takes more energy to process what's happening around you. But here's the powerful truth. Conversational sharpness is trainable, and it's one of the last capacities to remain highly responsive to daily habits. Let's break down what affects it. Blood flow to the brain. Reduced circulation equals slower mental processing. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, declines without stimulation. Social input, fewer conversations equals fewer brain workouts. Emotional health, depression, isolation, and anxiety dull conversational desire. Sleep and nutrition, poor rest and low B vitamins, omega-3s, or hydration affect clarity. Now here's a real story. Evelyn, 89, used to be a school principal, but after retiring, she began watching TV most of the day and barely saw anyone. When she came in for her annual, she struggled to follow questions. "I feel like I'm fading," she whispered. We implemented a plan, daily 20-minute phone calls with her niece about current events, crossword puzzles, and short story reading. Rotate tasks, reading poems or scripture to herself each morning. Added B-complex, magnesium glycinate, and 1.5 liters of water daily. By her 3-month follow-up, Evelyn was beaming. "I feel sharper," she said. "I remembered my pharmacist's name again." These little wins matter. They signal that the mental lights are still on and growing brighter. If you want to build your conversation sharpness, here's where to start. 1. Talk more with real people. Don't wait for visitors, make the call. Or ask to attend a small group. Even 10 minutes of back-and-forth conversation daily helps sharpen recall and attention. 2. Speak out loud to yourself. It may feel silly, but reading aloud engages auditory and expressive brain circuits. This strengthens verbal fluidity. 3. Practice memory games in context. Rather than isolated word lists, try recalling real-life details. What did you eat yesterday? What's your neighbor's last name? What was your favorite vacation memory? 4. Watch, then discuss. Watch a short show or documentary. Then summarize it out loud. Or write 3 takeaways. Processing and summarizing are high-level cognitive tasks. 5. Avoid multitasking conversations. Turn off background noise. Focus fully. Quality trumps quantity in brain-building talk. And yes, laughter counts. Seniors who laugh more in conversation have better oxygen intake, cortisol control, and dopamine release. If you're noticing more brain fog, get your hearing and vision checked. Many seniors are misdiagnosed with cognitive decline, when in reality, they just can't hear or see well enough to follow conversations. Finally, remember this: your voice is not just sound. It's proof that your mind is awake. Every conversation is a mini brain workout. And the longest-lived seniors, they keep talking, asking, sharing, laughing. They stay human, not just alive. That wraps our 6-part journey into the hidden signs of extreme senior health. The 5 things only 3% of seniors over 80 can still do. To recap, they are: stand from a chair without using your hands. Walk 10 minutes without exhaustion or pain. Stand on one leg for 30 seconds without falling. Climb a flight of stairs without stopping. Hold sharp conversations without fog. If you're already doing these, celebrate. If you're not, train for them. Because these aren't just abilities, they're indicators of youth still alive inside you. Dr. James Hartley, with deep respect, reminding you, a sharp mind is the crown of aging well. And every time you speak clearly, with energy and purpose, you tell the world, I'm still here and I'm still strong.